we're off to Cissbury.
Go on, Oscar, you get quick.
Approaching Cissbury.
Another pigeon.
Another pigeon on the bouncy road. So it's a bit of a steep climb.
Yeah. Ta-da!
And there it is. And through the side. Are we going to be walking up there? If we can find a place in the car park. No spaces in the car park, so we're on the road.
On the road.
But we've arrived.
It's lovely and warm.
It's warm actually. Quite like it. So let's just show you where it sits in the landscape. Big skies. Sussex landscape. Cissbury Hill. There we go.
So here we are, finally on our way up to Cissbury Ring. Cissbury Ring
It's full of
on
dogs.
the South Downs, and it is...
And our own dog is being chaotic as well.
Oscar's with us. Is he with us, or is he in his own little world of smells and life? And there are other dogs all over the place, so this could be quite an entertaining walk. The walk up to Cissbury is quite long.
It is. It's quite beautiful though. All the hawthorn berries are reddening up. That's
They
really
are.
looking funky.
One year I came here and picked a whole bucket of hawthorn berries and made Cissbury Ring hawthorn wine, and it was very nice, a nice rosé. Let me go over here and see.
The hawthorn berries, they look really small this year. I think it's because we've had no rain. Well, that's a lie.
That's
actually.
an absolute load of bullshit that's just come out of Kerry's mouth. We've had so much feckin' rain, it's ridiculous.
But we've had it all in 1 month. It's all been in 1 month of July.
July, summer.
But
And she's just told me that we haven't had enough rain. The other thing that she says is when it is raining solidly for days and days and days, she will say, yeah, but the ground needs it.
it does need it. Look at these
Not for
berries.
days.
These berries are very small. They haven't had enough water. It's probably the warmest it's been for a month.
Easy,
God.
as our previous conversation just now stated.
Oh yeah.
It's not been the best
No.
summer on record for warm weather, at least here. It's been dreadful over in Europe, mainland Europe.
Oh, it's awful.
But, we have
We've
not had the same experience.
No, thankfully. I would rather have a month's worth of rain than a month's worth of terrible fires. My heart goes out to everybody with all of that and everything else. Crikey.
Indeed. So this is our first trip out to a sacred site together. And I'm filming with this gimbal. I can see it shaking like hell, but hopefully the camera will sort that out. The other thing I have now realised as well is that obviously I am 6'3". Kerry is
5 foot
5 foot.
and shrinking.
I have very long legs,
I have very short fat legs.
and so I'm having to inch my way along, walking this way, so that I don't. And you keep going out of the shot. Look,
I can't.
this is dreadful. Go over here instead. There we go. Try that. Let's
No,
try
that's.
that. No, okay.
I think if I walk just a little bit behind you, it's probably easier.
What do we know about Cissbury Ring? What is Cissbury Ring?
A multi-layered site used over many, many hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yeah. So the earliest known use of the area that became Cissbury Ring was for Neolithic flint mines.
Yep.
And these kind of they would cut down with antlers and picks
Into the chalk.
into the chalk, and then find veins of flint that are everywhere in chalk. Chalk was the main place where people used to find flint during the Neolithic.
And exported it all over the world, apparently.
Indeed. So
Particularly from Sussex, because
Oxfordshire.
we had particularly good flint, apparently.
this is the best flint in the world. Probably the best flint in the world. If Carlsberg made flint, it'd be like this.
No advertising here, thank you. There are other flints and
Flint-
other beers.
Yeah, other flints are available. Yeah, so that was the Neolithic, and it was also used during the Bronze Age. But what it's mainly known for, really, is for the Iron Age Hill Fort that we're going to be visiting, which is Cissbury Ring itself.
So maybe we ought to kind of just let people know where it's situated, apart from in Sussex.
Okay.
So we're in Sussex, obviously, and we are on the Downs. And the Downs are not down at all, they're
No,
ups.
Up the Downs.
Up the Downs. The Downs, there's the South Downs and there's the North Downs. There may be other Downs, I'm not entirely
Other
sure.
Downs are available.
And it's chalk. It's chalkland. Laid down millions of years ago by the death of millions and billions of tiny sea creatures.
Yes, so this whole area was underwater, under the sea. And the Downs were formed below sea level,
They
which
were.
is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And the Downs kind of divide the Weald, which is a large flat area of land
Let's go this way.
north of the Downs, and the sea, south of the Downs, obviously.
The coastal plain.
Coastal plain.
That's right.
So it's a very funky place to live, and you get the best of both worlds from our point of view.
And the Downs, down, is a development of a word, an Old English dun, or don, dun, which means hill.
Other words to substitute are paps, which
Yeah.
are kind of hills or boobies.
Substitute your paps. That went
Maybe
in an
not.
That went in a completely different direction to the conversation I thought we were going to. Yeah, so in the Iron Age, the Age of Iron, they built this big hill fort. Hill forts are all over south of England.
Particularly along the downs,
Particularly along
because
the
they
downs.
were up. They were out of the marshes,
That's right.
which was all full of ague
Yeah,
and bears and wolves and
cranes and other things from
and
the Spirit of
fearsome
Albion.
things. So it's a lot
Safer up here.
safer to walk along the downs and make your camps along the downs,
That's right.
etc.
Absolutely. And there's a whole network of hill forts. Cissbury here, there's a path and it is a path, although Kerry has driven a transit along it. That's a story that might come out during this video. There's
Oops.
a path
Was that intentional?
that links Cissbury with Chanctonbury, which is another hill fort we'll probably visit and take you to. Over there, you can see in the distance, you can possibly just about see Mount Caburn poking out, which is quite remarkable, just beyond Truleigh Hill. Okay, so we're nearly at the ramparts
Yeah.
now,
So
and we were talking about hill forts and that this is kind of a complex. There's other hill forts are available.
we shall attempt to show you more hill forts.
Yeah, so Chanctonbury is a famous one, Wolstonbury, Mount Caburn, Hollingbury Camp, loads of different ones all over the place here.
White Hawk.
White Hawk, which is under Brighton Race Course, so we're not going to be able to see that one because
No.
they built on it. But that was a big one, apparently.
Isn't that where they used to gather for lots of markets and fairs and things? Probably around this sort of time.
Yeah,
'Cause
round
this
about
is-
Lunacer.
Yeah,
Lammas.
this is sort of Lammas, Lunacer,
Mhm.
Cullen Aust, Halfmass.
And
First
you-
cutting of the corn,
Yep,
or wheat, barley. In our thing, we call everything corn.
everything's corn. John Barleycorn. Being cut in the field. We're really approaching the ramparts now.
Okay.
Okay, so before us you can see a gate into Cissbury Ring itself, and then the ramparts before us, and they open out through a walkway into the space in the middle.
Which is huge.
Which is huge. And Cissbury Ring is, I think, the second biggest hill fort
In England, I
in
think.
England,
Yeah.
after Maiden Castle down in Dorset, which is the biggest.
Huge as well.
Yeah, that's even bigger. With amazing maze. We'll go there as well. Let's go there as well. Should we go there as well?
Let's go there as
We'll
well.
go there as well.
We'll go there as well.
And the ramparts are about a mile
All the way around.
all the way around.
And
So-
there's ponies and cattle, free roaming all over it. So we have to keep Oscar on the lead,
Oscar needs to be
obviously.
on the lead. So,
And free roaming humans.
and loads of blackberries and
Yeah.
blackberries all over the place.
Yes.
Well, there was. We'll probably walk in there now and there'll be no one, no cattle and no horses. But we'll see.
That
Right,
was just right.
let's
wasn't
go
it?
in, shall we? So here we are, we're walking along the ramparts now on the seaward side of Cissbury Ring. South side of Cissbury Ring, out to sea. You can see the Rampion Wind Farm, which is 70 square miles of electricity producing windmills. So I went out to the Rampion Wind Farm on a boat, and it was 13 miles from New Haven Harbour, and it was very, very choppy, and we were on a speedboat.
I wasn't.
No, well, the royal we, me. My birthday present, one of the best birthday presents I've ever had. Floated out there. Some people locally complain about this thing, but to me, and I think to Kerry too, they just fill me with hope.
Yes.
When I see them out there.
Definitely.
Harvesting a natural resource of wind off the coast.
They're not the prettiest things in the world, but they are, you know, they're a good alternative.
And it's also a marine nature reserve now. It's illegal to fish in the wind farm. So there are dolphins and there are porpoises within the wind farm.
How fabulous
which
is that?
is fantastic. And apparently the marine life is just absolutely loving it and being left on its own. So we've done a number of things here over the years. We've had various rituals and ceremonies up here. We came here for, I don't know, three years for the summer solstice sunrise.
Yes.
And actually saw the sun rise at least twice from this place.
One of the few places.
One of the few places. Tried watching the sunrise from Mount Caburn a couple of times, and it was constantly grey. The sky just got a different shade of grey, and I was thinking I will write a song called "The Sun Never Rises Over Caburn."
Mount Caburn is reputedly, because of the way it's set up, a ritual site, so that was a good reason to go up there. But
yeah, the ramparts are not for defence. They're set up in the wrong place for defence. We're just going past a beautiful, beautiful oak tree.
I was
now.
just thinking that same thing.
Yeah.
I really...
And it really is very special indeed. It's very, very hot.
We're going to try and find somewhere to sit down and have our lunch.
Have a picnic.
Yes.
We want a picnic.
It's very hot today. I mean, it's actually properly August today, which it has not been. And as you can see, the sky is just beautiful. Everything. There's butterflies and crickets and wildlife and wildflowers. It's just gorgeous. I think their whole thing with this place, I think it's National Trust, is they're trying to keep it properly grassland again.
Yes.
That's why they've got the cattle and the horses grazing. We're walking through gorse bushes right now.
That's
I'm not
right.
entirely sure we picked the right path. But
we're following the path less travelled.
a path less trod.
Yeah, like that one over there. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. Oh,
Come on, let's go.
someone's sitting on our bench. We've planned to sit on a bench,
It's not in the shade though.
and there's someone sitting on it. Well, here
Oh, nice cool breeze though.
is a lovely tree. You can see right behind us. Someone's sitting on our bench. But as you can see, the inside of Cissbury Ring is full of gorse bushes and trees. There's a yew tree here. This up here is a lovely holm oak, evergreen oak.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Oh, it does look like a good place to sit.
Let me just twin around here. There you go. What do you reckon of that? Should we sit there for a bit? Have a natter?
Yeah,
Why not? All right.
let's do it.
So here we are,
Sandwiches.
below the holm oak. Got sandwiches, got some water.
Got some crisps.
Oscar's very interested.
Got some fruit.
Lie down. Come on.
There's bees buzzing around our ear rolls, so I'm hoping.
And a helicopter.
My God, yeah, there was a helicopter
A big
so low.
military helicopter flew right above.
Hope they aren't after us.
No.
Oh.
And Robin Hood. We have come up here for a number of summer solstices,
Yeah.
and it's one of the places, along with Chanctonbury, where it is said that on the night of midsummer, the Fae ride out. Oscar, this way. Come on.
And
The
it
Fae
definitely
ride
feels
out.
fey.
And oh, he's being a good boy. He's lying down. You just can't quite see him. Just see his little leg here. Look, that's lovely. Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah, the fairy ride out from here on Midsummer's Eve. Some people don't understand when I say that these are the things I believe. We are part of a grove, a Druid grove, and our name incorporates 7 of the hill forts of Sussex,
Yes.
Cissbury being one of them. And we've done ceremonies to connect the 7 hills that we work with. Came up here, made offerings to the ancestors, and that was an amazing year. Then we did our Night of Lights, where members of the Grove went off to each of the 7 hills
That
with a
constitute
big
our thing.
torch. Not a torch with batteries, but a flaming torch.
Proper flaming torches.
On the night of midwinter, of the night of the winter solstice.
'Twas a stormy night.
Yes. And we've wondered whether or not if we found a space on each of the hill forts where we could light that torch, whether or not we would be able to see each other. It was a beautiful, clear night.
No, it wasn't.
It was where we were.
It was blooming awful
It
where
was
we
windy, but it was not. It wasn't. What I mean by that is it wasn't misty. It was cloudy, but it wasn't misty.
It was flipping
It was a bit
freezing
like
and
having no
blowing a
rain
gale.
before. All right. It was blowing a gale. But myself and some others went to Thundersbarrow Hill, which we'll also take you to. And there were a group who came here and various other hills. And at the point of the solstice, which I think was 7 minutes past 7 or something like that.
Something like that. Can't remember.
We lit these torches and raised them. They were on big sticks, raised them up. And Thundersbarrow was right in the middle, and we saw these twinkling lights all around us. I don't know, I can't remember who came here, whether or not the people who came to Cissbury saw any of the others. I think they would have certainly seen Chanctonbury being lit. But that was something we did here.
Yeah.
That was an amazing night, absolutely incredible.
It was an amazing
night.
year's trip, actually. You know,
Yes.
the whole point was to connect these 7 points that were really important to us as a grove around Sussex and along the Downs. But it was to connect with the ancestors, not just human ancestors, but ancestors of the land, ancestors of the animals, of the trees, of the plants, and to honour all of those. And we have an invocation to Andred, Andraste, and
Andred here, definitely.
yeah, Andred here, which is what Anderida is named for, and she was a goddess who feels like the land. It's like whenever you invoke her, we created this fantastic invocation all together with kind of meditation and funky sound stuff, and it all fell together really beautifully. And we have invoked her and spoken to her in other rituals. So it felt good to raise that spirit. And she's I think she's a warrior. She feels like a warrior. I invoked her when they were trying to do fracking and stuff like that. But she also feels like she watches through the land, through every eye of every animal, through every ear of every rabbit or hare, or she just feels like that's how she connects with the land. So at every turn we invoked Andred, and we invoked the ancestors of all beings.
Yeah, and like from an animistic point of view, she is the land itself and all life on it, and not a anthropomorphic image of a human being, but the spirit of this very soil that we're touching beneath us. And I think really if there's one gift of Druidry that I've found, it's the ability to tune into the land beneath your feet, wherever you are. And you know, when we went to Italy, when we've been to Australia, when we've been to America, the kind of skills and things what you learn of those ways of connecting to the land beneath your feet work everywhere.
Eminently transferable.
They are absolutely transferable. And when I tuned into the horned god of that forest in Italy, I might not have picked up hern, but the energy didn't feel that different, to be honest with you. The forest spirits are similar wherever we've gone. And this is a lovely tree.
It's a beautiful tree.
A lovely tree.
I'm very conscious that there is a lot of buzzing around us, and I think there may be some kind of a buzzy...
I think
they've smelt the sandwiches.
They've smelt the cheese and cucumber sandwiches.
Cheese.
I know I have, so I'm going to munch. Cheers.
Cheers. Lunch. Oh, that was loud. My sandwich.
Oh, nice sandwich. Oh. Something else I've just remembered. I think it was the first summer solstice sunrise that came up here. Beautiful sun. The sky starts to change way before dawn. I've got crisps in my teeth. And then suddenly you get that first little chink of light on the horizon. And on that particular one, I'd just cut my wand.
Oh, okay.
I'd been to Sleepy Hollow. I'd found a little rowan.
Sleepy Hollow is one of our favourite woods. It's not actually called Sleepy Hollow. It's
locally
just what we
known
call
as
it.
Sleepy Hollow. Warren Hill. And there was a rowan tree there, and I knew that rowan was the tree that I wanted my wand to come from. And there are people who say you shouldn't cut from a living tree, and there are people who say you should be to only take them from fallen wood, and there are people who say should a lot about a lot of things. But ultimately, I think all of these things are down to how you feel and how you connect and what you do, and
how respectful you are.
How respectful you are. So I felt that that for me it needed to come from a living tree. So I found the tree, and on a dog walk, I guess it was a dog walk with Wiz, our old border collie.
Beautiful
at the
old
time.
Border Collie.
Yeah, she was a good dog. And I spotted it. I spotted the tree well before I cut it. And it was a fairly young tree, but there was one branch that was dead straight. And I thought, well, if I keep coming back and I keep getting a yes, then I'll cut it. And that kept happening. I kept asking, and it kept saying, just take the branch.
Stop nagging and do it.
And if you're going to do this, use a really good cutting tool. Make sure you cut at slope so that not horizontal, so any moisture sort of runs off and it doesn't start getting infected where the wound is that you've cut the wand. And I was always told from the elbow to the end of your longest finger. It's not a secret, it's all over the internet probably. From your elbow to the tips of your fingers. Cut this wand. Stripped it of bark. I've done nothing else with it all over those years. Just cut a point and a flat, and then brought it up here for the summer solstice. And at the point where that first bit of light came up, I held it up and I asked the sun to bless the wand. And it was a powerful moment, actually. Offering magical tools to the rising sun is a good thing. It's a powerful thing. It's showing it to the light, to our greatest star, and to the thing that draws life from this earth. And if you're going to revere anything, then the sun and the earth seem to be the most obvious thing to revere, and to hold a piece of the earth. And the wand, like a companion. A companion and a focus of the natural world that has travelled with me ever since, and I've still got that wand. It's still part of my magical connection to this day.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I did a similar thing at a ritual with the Grove on our beach near home.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd made willow wands. And it was coming up for a full moon, so we went down to the beach to do this ritual, and as the moon was rising, we blessed our wands on the shore and raised them to the moon in a similar thing. And it was really emotional. It was a really powerful, emotional thing. I think tools, you can have like a bag of tools, but I think if they're going to be tools, they have to be something that really means something to you, something that you can truly focus through and feel the presence of the tree that gave you that piece of wood, and to feel all of the trees of its kind working with you as an ally, drawing up through the land, through the roots, through yourself, through your own roots, and out through that tool that you are directing.
Yeah.
Magical tools.
And if you can make your own tools, make them. It's a little bit harder to make an athame, I should think, or a magical knife, unless you know a blacksmith. But a wand, if you're going to work with the ogham or the ogham, and you can, and you're in the country where all these trees grow, of course, which a lot of people aren't. We're very lucky here, they're all over the place.
I've tried to plant as many in the back garden. It's not a very big back garden, but I've tried.
And it's a journey. I made an ogham set and an ogham set, and it took about a year to collect them all, and I probably could take you back to most of the trees I cut them from. And I could certainly take you back to the rowan that I cut my wand from at least 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
At least.
And it's interesting that we're talking about tools in this place, because that's what Flint was used for. So all of the ancient flint mines here, all of the flints that came out of here would have been used as tools. They would have been hard won by digging deep into the chalk finding the things, napping, which was the method of breaking, and like obsidian in South America was used as blades. They're never dull. I mean, if you find a flint blade, it's still as sharp as it was when it was napped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic thing.
And for lighting fires.
Yeah.
You know, the old flint and iron as a way of lighting a fire.
Making axe heads, making scraping tools, arrowheads. I mean, you know, the better the flint and the skill of napping is just incredible.
And all that flint, for all that napping, there you go, just lying on the top here. Bit of flint there.
People come up here.
Another flint there. Bit of flint there.
Yeah. People still come up here after all these years and find bits of napped flint and worked flint.
Well, there you go. That's
There
as
you
sharp
go.
as hell. Look at that. That is absolutely sharp.
That actually looks like.
It looks like it's
Do you know
been
that
napped.
does actually? I mean, literally just. I mean, you might think that's fake, but really, honestly, it's not. I literally just reached out and picked that
Yeah.
up, and that looks like it's been napped on the edges.
Look at that. Sharp as anything.
That's amazing.
There you go. That is
Wow.
definitely sharp.
Unless somebody modern's been up here trying to have a go.
Well, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I'm absolutely convinced they do. So, yeah, talking about magical tools and the ancients, couldn't be in a better place, actually. This place was also lived in, wasn't it? I mean,
Yes, there are remnants of round houses here, but they would have been made of wood because of the forest of Anderida. No
Named
one really
again
knows how to
for
pronounce it
Andred.
properly.
Andraste.
Yeah, used to cover the whole of the Weald, and these downs poked out the top,
Yeah.
and there would have been a palisade or a ring of fences all the way around, mile round fence all the way around, with the ramparts for defence as well, and people lived in the middle here. But most of our archaeology of things like our long barrows, which would have had chambers in, but those chambers would have been made of wood. And so they've collapsed and they've gone. And then the Victorians came along and nicked everything, dug everything up. So most of them are completely empty anyway. But all of the housing and structures in here would have been made of wood, and they went
Yeah.
centuries ago.
They were treasure hunters. They were not archaeologists, really, were they?
No.
I mean, they were only interested in the goods. And these beautiful trees. How on earth these trees survive? Because on the chalkland, the soil is so thin. I mean, it's just so thin. So how these magnificent trees survive is miraculous, really. But they do, and they're quite amazing. Absolutely beautiful. You just feel wrapped and nurtured by this one.
And there were buzzards flying above just now as well. And I remember back in the sort of early 90s, buzzards were very, very rare in Sussex. If you barely saw them. Kestrels were the main bird of prey here.
Small
But there were barely any buzzards and certainly no kites. And
both
and I remember thinking, when the buzzards return, to see buzzards you had to go down west. You had to go down to the West Country from here, really, and head towards the New Forest and that. But I always said I would feel a breath of relief when I see the buzzards return to Sussex. Unlike all the rabbits, who did not breathe a sigh of relief at all. They went, oh no, the
buzzards are back. Damn.
Yeah.
However, the rabbits have been, I mean, the Romans, bless them, brought the rabbits.
What have they ever done for us?
Brought us rabbits, apparently.
Did they?
Apparently so. The people vacillate between the Normans and the Romans, but all the research I've done says the Romans used to bring them